Hello, and welcome to That's Just Human, a podcast that explores all aspects of being human, living in a human body, and dealing with life's obstacles. I'm your host, Elisha LightAngel, a licensed massage therapist by day, learning all about bodies and how people live in them. And I also happen to be a fellow human, just like you, living in a human body, having human experiences, and I like to chit chat with other people and learn more about them and their human experiences because it's all part of the gamut. So today we're going to be talking to a friend that who's been in my life a lot longer than a lot of other people and has got to see me through a bajillion different transitions to where I am now. And I've got to also witness him through lots of different transitions, and we're going to just discuss some of his life journey today. So, welcome, ChrisPittman, to the show.
Hello.
Well, thank you for agreeing to be part of this podcast, and thank you for being part of the life journey that I've been on and allowing me to witness you while you witness me as we each individually live our lives and do different things. So,
Yeah, I think it was right there when you said, Chris, I need you to cover my shifts for the next 6 weeks. I'm in labor. And it was just like, what? What happened?
yes, we met. I was his boss eons ago, and I was quite pregnant when he started working for me as my assistant manager at a video store. And then I got put on bed rest, which was not fun. I don't recommend it. And uh, so I asked him to cover my shifts, and he worked lots of overtime for a few months there. And then our journey began. So, whenever I stepped into your life, you were in recovery from some narcotics, living at, I'm not sure what you would call it, like a halfway type house.
3/4. Halfway houses have a paid staff.
Okay. So,
It's an Oxford house. It's an Oxford house. It's kind of like a 3/4 house where it's just a bunch of people who are in recovery, going to meetings and living their normal life, and they're holding each other accountable and learning to learning to live again, paying the bills, being responsible. But it's just kind of about getting back on track. So,
did that actually help?
it helped me learn to be friends with other gay people. It helped me realize that there are other things that I could do with gay men besides sleep with them.
Okay. Well, that's a step up. And before this, you were heavily into utilizing both drugs and alcohol.
Yes,
And for how long was that a part of your life?
on and off for 20 years.
Okay. That's part of life, part of the human experience. And as you've gone through this process, because I have watched you, I've seen you at times be sober, and I've seen you relapse, and I think that's a really real place for a lot of people to go through, because putting a substance down that has given you a comfort or helps you to numb feelings you don't want to feel is really hard to do, especially when it's easily available. So, can you kind of share a little bit about what the journey has been like as far as um, doing drugs, getting off drugs, having them introduced, and kind of what you go through on this up and down cycle?
Okay, well, everybody's running from something. This is kind of what are you trying to medicate? Whether you do it with coffee, knitting, you know, or using copious amounts of speed. Everyone has the thing they're addicted to. But what was I doing? I was running from my emotions. I was running from having to feel and accept the family that I had grown up with. You know, I'm I didn't come from a normal uh, nuclear family, you might say. I came from a very unhappy home. My mother's husband was very manipulative, and he was an actively using drug addict, and just kind of took advantage of my family. So what was I running from? The memories of being tormented because my conservative parents didn't know how to handle a gay child. So
That's, I'm sure, a lot to deal with, and I can only imagine the slew of emotions that lie underneath that. What got you to actually want to try and take some of the steps to get clean?
my crack dealer recommended it.
Okay. And you just kind of went with it.
Well, I kind of just drove 1,800 miles from San Antonio, Texas, back to Florida to find some good crack and kind of got stranded there. So she started recommending I go to what ended up being a rehab. But I didn't go to that one. I eventually ended up in rehab back in Texas, but it was just kind of one of those ping pong things. I eventually went, but yeah. After I owed that drug dealer a bunch of money, it's like, yeah, let's not go there. She knows somebody there. I need to go that way.
What steps did it take to get into recovery?
It's all a personal journey. You know, we maintain anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. I am just somebody I am in recovery. I can share you what my experience was, which was I was tired of being tired. I was tired of being homeless. I've been homeless 6 times in my adult life that I can remember. Um, each time, it's like when I get in enough pain, I will change. When I'm tired of the drama, I will eventually change. But it's pain is the touchstone of all spiritual growth. It depends how much I'm willing to endure before I learn.
That's really real. Like, what a motivation just getting to the point of being in the pain that causes you to take a step of action to create something different in your life. Like we talked about, I stepped in, and at that point you were trying out recovery, and I think you were doing pretty good for a little while.
Then I met a boy, just like when I was doing crack, I met a boy.
It's always a partner that gets you into the things. So, how many times over the past 20 years would you say or estimate that you've gone like on the ups and the downs of using again and then committing to yourself that you're going to stop using? And
More than I could count. So kind of what makes me an addict. It's what I do. I am one of the party animals of the world, but it's not pretty when you're 45 and balding. So yeah, I won't. I'm an educated man now. I have 3 fat cats that are incredibly spoiled, and I just have too much to push around in the shopping cart. So yeah.
yeah, that couch would be pretty heavy to be pushing around in a shopping cart, I'm sure. So, at this point, you're sober, correct?
hmm
And you're also, I've been kind of watching you from a distance. You're working out, you're have a good job, you're doing things for yourself. So this current go round in life, what has been some of the things that keep you motivated going to the gym, that keep you motivated going to your job, that keeps you motivated taking care of the cats? And
Well, the cats will eat me if I don't feed them. So there's that. You know, the threat is real. Feed us or we eat your eyes. Oh, yeah. But with everything else, my natural state is lounging on the couch, relaxing in preparation for a nap. Sloth is my natural state. So the fact that when I like what makes me get up and go do this is like when I was almost 500 pounds at 17. I will sit here, eat everything in sight before noon while watching TV and just being very obnoxious. So I get up and get out of the house so I can live the kind of life that I want, which is what you see on TV. Having a life is makes you very busy and it's very, very tiring. That was never anywhere in the brochure. But, but yeah. Um, so it's just, why do I get up and do it? What else am I gonna do? Lay here? I can be bored here. At least if I'm at the gym, there's often someone walking around in spandex. So yeah.
I guess that's a motivation. I personally have a hard time staying motivated to work out consistently. So when I see somebody else being able to do it, I always wonder what kind of motivation they're using to maybe I can glean from that.
I know what it's like to be a mammoth. I know how society treats you when you're fat, you know, when you're 6'6" and massively overweight. I know how awful humans can be, especially gay people. So I go to the gym and I do it for me because I don't want to get as big as I was. I don't want for all this hard work and everything I put into it just to slide out as slide out to get thrown out the window as I slide back into a rote task of sitting here watching TV and eating Doritos and French onion dip, for lunch. So that's just kind of like why not? What's my alternative? I've already seen every movie ever made, you know. What else is there to do when your parents keep you locked in your bedroom? I've already seen every movie ever made. Science fiction TV shows hold some attention, but then I get bored after a while. But yeah, I mean, there's aside from fucking with my cats, like like this one right here, I call her Our Lady of her name is Ash, also known as Our Lady of Lard. She's a healthy girl.
She kind of blends in with her couch a little bit.
Yeah, she healthy.
She's very shiny, so I can tell that she's healthy. I'm sure she's super soft too.
Yeah.
As I am a cat person, so my heart melts a little every time I see any cat. Any cat.
Yeah. And then my monster is laying on the table and Cosmos is floating around here somewhere. But yeah, so I mean, I can have the life I wanted, where the life that I've dreamed of, which is kind of what I have now. I'm a homeowner. I've gone from homeless, hillbilly, crack whore to honors student homeowner. I'm. It's just kind of like this shit only happens on TV. So yeah.
It doesn't only happen on TV because obviously it happened to you, although somebody's watching this, so it's happening on their TV.
Well, I'm still waiting for my company issued sports car. Yeah.
Oh,
That's how it happened on TV. You get a company issued sports car, then they try to issue you a wife and kids. They can just give me a bigger car instead, and then you move on. That's how it always happened on TV. So yeah.
but you have the house, you're taking care of yourself, and you have a career. And that's something that I think a lot of people dream of. A lot of people dream of just having a house for that matter. And so to be able to accomplish that, don't undercut yourself because you've done a lot of work.
Well, I'll tell you, I named my condo Casa de Cuckoo because nobody tried to stop me when I bought it. I was going through a medication change.
Okay.
So it seemed fitting. I named my condo Casa de Cuckoo.
Is it still fitting?
Well, yes, it's still the house of crazy. Have you met me? So yes. Oh, yes. But,
So, can you actually speak a little bit more about some of your experiences of the way people treat somebody when they're in a larger body and in a smaller body?
well, I've had people look through me like I was a dirty window, or a piece of furniture, with just disgust as they walk by. But that was, and you have to understand all of your listeners out there, whoever's watching this. I am also 6'6" tall. That is pretty big, you know. So I get weird reactions from small individuals all the time. Children make me laugh my ass off as they see how tall I am for the first time, and most of them fall straight backwards looking up at me. It's hilarious. But but yeah, so. People are awful, just like in high school. People don't change, they just get older.
If there's one thing I can do with this podcast is to help other people to have compassion for others, not knowing the circumstances that somebody has lived, not knowing where they currently are, or the internal environment that they're going through. And I dream of having a world where we can all have a little more empathy, a little bit more compassion, and just treat other people, random strangers, people you know, better.
See, that's why we get along so well. We're both fans of Star Trek.
I've only watched a little bit of Star Trek. Mostly my dad watched it when I was little.
Well, you've got the general plot.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So, what else are you able to do at this point, like living your dream life? Has it impacted your
I
ability
mean,
to?
I'm currently recovering from plastic surgery. So what do I do right now? I When I go to the gym, I do light to moderate workouts, 2 to 3 sets of whatever it is I want to do. Then I go home and wait and see how my body's going to react because there's still a lot of internal stitches, that haven't fully dissolved yet. So I have limits on what I can do. On the other part, I'm also recovering from neck fusion surgery. I was involved in a major car accident last year, which helped me to pay for my body lift where I got a lifetime's worth of poor eating choices, like all of my extra skin. I got to have that removed. So for the first time in my adult life, I have a flat stomach. I still have titties, but I have a flat stomach. So, but yeah.
That's so cool.
Uh,
So
uh,
that's like one of those situations. It's a bad situation with a really nice silver lining.
what my Now that I have a smaller stomach and my titties look better?
Yeah, I think that's a silver lining of that got paid for. It's expensive.
Yeah, that's how I did that. Yeah.
Expensive.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the only way I was able to afford that. But yeah, it's been a lifetime dream of mine, and that's happening. I mean, shit like this doesn't happen in real life, but it's happened to me. So I can tell you that throughout my addiction and throughout my homelessness and throughout all the craziness that I went through, as I was the homeless guy walking up and down the streets of Oaklawn, with a bag of dope in my pocket and a big book in my hand, sleeping in the laundry rooms of Oaklawn. I realized the codes to all the gates, so I would get in at night and sleep in the laundry rooms to get out of bad weather. But so I'm I've done all that. I've slept under a train station just because the train would wake me up when it blows its whistle at 3:45, so I can start getting up and making it to work. And now I have 3 cats that jump on my head until I get out of bed, so I feed them in the morning. So, I sleep in a king size bed in a condo that I own, where my new car is perched out front. And my country house is waiting for me to finish some projects. And it's like I'm the homeless guy who used to eat out of trash cans. I now have multiple residences, multiple vehicles, and it's just like, how did all this shit end up in my hands? Because this never happened. I mean, it never happened to me until now. It is amazing, but yeah, this is more than I've ever dreamed of.
Well, I believe that you worked for it as how it happened. And now that you are living a sober life, you're able to reap rewards around you. I mean, 2 houses, multiple vehicles, that's that's a lot more than a lot of people can say.
Yeah, but only one of these vehicles run. The other house has been a crack house for about 15 years, and now it sits vacant while I try to work on renovations. And it's the universe has given me a host of wealth, and while it all sounds nice and it's excellent to have, each aspect of this gift presents unique challenges still that I have to work through and overcome. So it's like There are technically 7 vehicles. I have titles to one of them.
Wow. But how many of those run?
None of them.
None of the 7 vehicles run?
No. Now, okay, picture my country house, the place that my family estate, the land I grew up on, or inhabited, haunted, whichever verb you choose to use. It is part Sanford and Son, part Gone in 60 Seconds, and part Shameless. Like they all had a baby and left it in the middle of the Texas Hill Country.
Okay.
It's at the corner of Hillbilly Hell and Meth Mountain. That's kind of where it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And all the vehicles are there?
Yeah, they're not mobile. They're still there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you get to work?
Me
Yeah.
on my broom. I personally have a Honda CRV, but for my country place, the stuff that I got down there, the stuff that belongs to my family, none of it runs.
Gotcha.
Not even the bus. I have a Winnebago.
Ooh, a Winnebago.
Yeah, you want it? I'll give you the address. As long as you move it, it's free.
So I'm going to go a Winnebago.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just show some leg. You'll be great.
I'll I don't even want to know what the bill would be to tow a vehicle for 250 miles.
A lot further than that because it's 250 miles to my lake house from where I am now.
South?
Yes.
Oh, well, 500 miles. So are you able to have a social life at this current?
Well, I do. Um, I compartmentalize a lot, but I have my work friends and I have my sober friends. I don't the two groups don't usually overlap very often, because I have all my gay friends who were uh, similar flavor of crazy. And then I have all my work friends who are usually soccer moms and just normal people, and they're my hostages during the day for 8 hours a day. They're trapped with me in the building. So yeah, I have a lot of fun with them, and because I believe every day should start with laughter, and that and I try to laugh as much as possible. So like. That's why most of our phone calls when we first met, I would just call and ask you what color underwear you're wearing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you knew at the time how I was just rolling up off of 24 years of fundamental Christian upbringing and that you
We're not wearing any underwear. Is that what you're telling me?
no, I'm telling you that I was so drunk on the Kool-Aid that that I've spent you've spent the past 20 years on and off drugs, and I've spent the past 20 years unraveling the first 20 years of brainwashing of the flavor of Christianity that I was told was the only thing that existed, and my worldview was very tainted. So,
And my parents were Baptists too. That's what I'm hearing.
not Baptist, more on the Pentecostal side.
Oh, no wonder you're such a good dancer.
I actually wasn't allowed to dance. Like people could dance.
Didn't they go to the church at Pentecost? In the Pentecostal churches, those where they run. I've been there. I've seen people run down the aisles like they're being chased by somebody with a gun.
There's definitely a lot of interesting things that happen. So definitely there's speaking in tongues, which I did from like the age of 7. And there's uh people could dance before the Lord, but you couldn't dance, at least in my household. I'm sure other households have different experiences, but dancing wasn't really encouraged or allowed in my house, which was kind of weird because my mom grew up being a ballerina and my dad wasn't. But my dad made
So were you out there twerking like Molly Cyrus?
oh my God, no, no, I would have died. They were like I turned like 50 shades of red when you would call and ask me what color of underwear you're wearing. That's how I was I was like an uptight prude, but not because that's who I am, but that's what I was told. that I needed to be. So I tried fitting in this box, and you stepped into my life. I had barely stepped outside of that box. Maybe it was a year outside of that box.
I have a
So
habit of crushing boxes. So yes.
so yeah, you've actually been very eye-opening for me in my growing up under
Because what I just heard is I'm responsible for a lot of your early trauma.
no, no, because you're not my dad. So yeah, I mean, life, I don't think it works out how we ever think it's going to work out. We just kind of keep on moving into the situations and
Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming.
just keep swimming. Sometimes that's a theme song. When when the shit gets hard and it's challenging, theme song rolls in the head. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I can do this. And then we keep going.
Mm.
You mostly homebody at this point, like Dan Worms on body.
Right now, I'm mostly a homebody. I have to charge this wound vac, make sure that it stays done. I can walk as much as I want. Usually walk around the neighborhood, or right here, a couple miles from where I live. There's a park and a lake, you know. And I used to live under the bridge at this lake, so I spend a lot of time walking around there, just kind of visiting. It's kind of interesting. It's like I posted about it on Facebook once. Like I used to live here, and someone commented, "Nice pool." Oh yeah, yeah. But
Is that weird or is that like a reflection point for you?
it gives me a place because I can sit here and complain about my high class problems, about the fact that I need to go down and clean up and do a lot of yard work, do a lot of yard work. It's like I bought a condo, so I wouldn't have to have a yard. It's like, well, the if you want more money from this place to help you later in life, you're going to need to put in a little bit of work now. So it's like I can sit here and complain and turn a just add water pancake mix into a 3 hour shopping trip to Walmart.
I've always seen you as being very affable. Like maybe it's your passion to try and make other people laugh, and having coming from more of a dark background. So
Well, it's a defense mechanism. If I get you laughing with me instead of at me, life is generally a lot easier to endure. But yeah.
that makes sense.
When most people start talking or drooling consistently or sweating profusely, I start cracking crazy or twisted or extremely perverted jokes, whatever the audience might like. But yeah, that's just me.
And I'm assuming that it works.
Most of the time, I'm still employed, and I have yet to see the inside of HR. So yeah, it tends to work. Yeah. These days, my life is very basic. It's very my youth, I would consider it very boring. But you know what I've discovered? I'm okay with boring. Boring means I know when my next meal is going to be. I know that I am responsible enough to show up to work, to give me an expense account to do my job. I get to do purchases with somebody else's money. This is now I'm a guy who used to steal cigarettes just to make it through the night from the gas station I was working at, along with enough money for dope. So that's me. And now people trust me. I had a supervisor tell me that I'm a responsible guy, and then he looked at me and he's like, when you look at me like that, it makes me reconsider everything I just said. Because I apparently looked at him with this dumbfounded expression on my face. This is just things that I don't usually hear a lot of. I was a street walking crack whore in Florida. So the titles and the tasks I've had and the jobs I've done, I've had every job you can think of. So yeah. This is fun. I get to talk shit with straight guys, and the factory I work at, a lot of them wear sweatpants, and they rarely wear underwear, so it's usually a good view.
Well, welcome to your new paradigm. And I think you've worked hard for this over the course of time, going to school, learning, building skills, getting jobs. being consistent in the way that you show up and people see that. So this is your new paradigm. This is
Yeah.
you right now.
Well, as I sit here in my off-brand Star Trek shirt, because look, I'm one of the red shirts. I'm the security guy who's going to get killed pretty soon. So yeah.
Well, having gone through all of the different changes, this is my last question. What would be some wisdom that you could leave the listeners with?
Hmm. The biggest thing that I've had to deal with, that I consistently have to deal with, is working on this. This is the difference in God's timing and my patience. It's just realizing that every time I pray for patience, I'm given examples and opportunities to practice. Not that shit will happen. Just because I got sober doesn't mean I was given this perfect life. It might seem that way, but no, shit happens. Just be patient and work your way through it. Don't get stuck. Continue to move forward. That's what I do. I continue moving forward at all costs and don't get stuck in the mud. Sure.
Yeah, that's good advice because I think life is hard. Sometimes there's easy parts, but a lot of it's really hard. So just being consistently just trying to move through whatever is coming at you, whether that's a good thing, slightly challenging thing, or shit, a terrible
And
thing.
if you keep it weird, it'll always be entertaining.
I give you that. That's true. So, yes. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit about your story, sharing some of the wisdom and just some realness that you've experienced in your life. Thank you so much. If you're out there watching or listening, if you subscribe or follow this, share this with anyone that you think might benefit from listening to the conversation today. That helps the algorithm get my show out to more people, and I can take the time to interview more awesome people with their real life experiences. So please help me out. And as you go about your life, be true to yourself, be kind, and remember, everything is part of the journey.